Greetings, welcome to Live in Love with Laura. I thought I would just share some thoughts and some food for thought. I've been reflecting on 2020, the year 2020, and I find it really fascinating. You know, the year began with fire. I don't know if you remember the raging fire that was going on in Australia, and actually some significant volcano eruptions in the world. And then it kind of moved into this element of air. And by air, I mean there was a lot of destruction happening in the air. Plane crashes, the crashing plane in Iran, and then of course Kobe Bryant's plane crash, COVID-19, and this respiratory virus moving into the famous lines of "I can't breathe." I have been sitting with this, 2020 vision is about being able to see clearly, to have perfect vision. And I feel like we are getting challenged to see the unseen, because air itself is unseen. Air is an element that's very powerful. We all know it exists. It makes movement happen. It moves things, moves the trees, it moves flowers, it moves us when we are in the wind. Air is unseen, and the element of air actually represents the mind, represents thought. In order to see clearly, we have to have a clear mind. All this destruction is happening in this air element. It's a bit of mind scramble, especially with quarantine and COVID, everyone had a way of living that had to stop. That's never happened in all of human history, where the whole world stopped for one thing. Of course, there's different viewpoints on this and what's this about and who's trying to gain control and all of these things. But from a bigger perspective, if you could just zoom out a little bit, if it's about control, and this is an air element that's about the mind, then really you do have control. The only things we have control over is our mind, our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We really don't have control of anything outside of ourselves in a way, and we tend to get tripped up by those things and want to look at those things and try to control those things. You see it all the time in relationships. It's about the other person did this, and they should do this, and all of these things, and we forget to look at ourselves in relationship too. When we talk about the mind and thoughts, we really want to get clear on how we're operating. There are a lot of influences that can contribute to where our focus is going. The media can bombard us with different things, and it brings our focus into something, it zeroes our focus in, and it distracts us from maybe what we're trying to create, or just feeling pure joy in our life, or doing what we do because we're so wrapped up in this thing. Not right or wrong, or good or bad. I'm not coming from that place. I'm coming from a place of get empowered. Be empowered. Get control of your life by getting control of your mind. Mental illness is something that a lot of people are struggling with right now. I work in psychotherapy, and so there's depression, there's anxiety, all kinds of different diagnoses of the mind in mental illness. People are starting to give up their power over and over and over again. They give up their power whenever they give up their focus. They give up their power anytime they think they're out of control here. Our mind is our greatest tool. It is our greatest tool. So is this physical body. It's our greatest tool. And we're very disconnected from these things because we're so bombarded by everything else that's going on. I don't want to speak as if these things aren't going on, or, there's not something to consider with what's going on, but at least propose an idea of spending time to quiet the mind so that you can consciously look at what's going on and have an awareness. Sometimes when we're wrapped up in something, this is all we can see, and we have to zoom out so we can see more. In Thailand, there are these, I don't think it's just Thailand, but my experiences in Thailand, there are these big, huge elephants, and they're tied by a rope to just a little post. And you look at this huge elephant, it can easily just walk and pull this post right out of the ground. And there's this famous story actually where a man sees these elephants, and he goes to the trainer. He's like, why is this small rope and small post the only thing that's holding this elephant? And the trainer says, oh, well, when the elephant was small, we would tie the rope with the post, and that was enough to hold the elephant there. So then when it became big, it just believed that it still was held by that rope and post. It believes in its mind, it's got mind tricked to believe that it's stuck by rope and post. But in actuality, in reality, that elephant is huge and big enough to pull that post right out of the ground and walk away. This is extremely significant for us because our beliefs in our mind limit us. They make us think that things are a certain way, or that we can't do something, or we are constrained in some way. But the reality is, we are these big, magnificent beings, and nothing can hold us down like a rope and a post. But here, we are held down so often. In terms of mind control and media and all of these things, yeah, maybe there are powers at play that are trying to control us. All they can do is try. We give up that power by choosing to go along. We believe, and that's the biggest issue here. Not that there's powers at play. There's always been powers at play. Always. There's always been people and beings that are trying to gain control. That's nothing new. What needs to be new is that we own our control, that we take back our power by understanding the power of our mind and understanding the power of our focus and directing that towards something that we want to create versus just being influenced all the time by whatever you want to call it. Because, you can say, oh, the government and oh, media and oh, education. But it's happening all the time, even with our friendships and our parents and our families and relationships. It's constant. We are constantly influenced by outside sources. And the real source that guides us through our life is inside us. We unfortunately don't stay quiet enough to be still and quiet in the mind to feel the essence of who we are. And from there, make a decision of what to focus on, what to create. So I just wanted to make this video to really reconnect to the element of air and the essence of air, that being thought, the mind. When the winds come, they just blow and they just take things out. Been enjoying the beauty of nature and how, a tree can be so rooted and blow with the wind, yet still stay grounded. And that's the kind of power we need to step back into. We need to be able to stand in the storm, take it on, and own who we are and have that strength. And that strength comes from the power of our belief systems, the power of the mind, and the power of connection we have to ourselves. With great compassion, I know that there is a lot going on in the world at a grand level and a lot going on in people's world at an individual level. And so with much love, I honor that. And I also offer support to you. If you need support on how do I really understand this mind? How do I really understand my own power? There's so many tools and teachings to be able to share with you. Very simply put, there's life activation session, empower thyself, meditation. So many tools that we have, and it's always available to us. Air, inhale, exhale, breathe. This is a human need, and with the breath that was lost through some of these tragedies, we need to take back our own breath and breathe deeply, find our center, and make the change that we know needs to be made in our individual life and at the world at whole. Now is the time. So get clear in your mind, get clear on what you want to create, and have the courage to step into it. Much love.